quick! Say something interesting about Team Magma versus Team Aqua EX. Go! Um, well, it reuses a gym challenge artwork for one of the trainers, and hmm, it's mostly comprised of 3D artworks, which is something I guess we haven't really seen so far in the EX era, or just in general. So, I mean, I guess that's cool. And speaking of the EX Team Magma versus Team Aqua, that's what we're here to talk about today. Releasing in 2004 on March 15th, this set features many different cool Pokemon, such as Kyogre, Groudon, and many other fun and cool Pokemon from Generation 3. Another interesting part about this set is that all the different cards feature a Team Aqua A or a Team Magma M on them, which is pretty cool. Now, we have many variants of the different Pokemon, so don't get very confused from this. I know I have. This set features 97 total cards, 95 cards in the main normal set, and 2 secret rare cards, which I'm very excited to share with you all. Now, we'll just move right into the trainer cards. Firstly, we'll talk about Keiji Kinabuchi, who reprinted the Warp Point, as well as the Strength Charm. Nice to see that name, but it's quickly gone as we talk about Big Mama Tagawa reprinting the Dual Ball, and then Hiromichi Sugiyama worked on one trainer, being the Team Aqua hideout, which showcases the large Aqua A being in the base and a stadium in the middle with some nice water around it. We'll be seeing this card a lot. And not specifically the card, but just the environment around it. The next card is the Team Magma Hideout, which showcases volcanic rocks and a stadium in the middle. We'll also be seeing a lot of this one as well. Interestingly, Mitsuhiro Ito worked on only trainer cards, and they're all 3D cards, being the Team Aqua Belt with water all around it, and the Aqua TMO1 with some water in the back. And you guessed it, the Magma Belt and TMO1, which have magma in the back. Yeah, you get the idea. I just find it interesting that Arita worked on some trainer cards, but they also have one or two cards in the set they'll be talking about later, so you'll hear about them later. And next, we have Takumi Akabane, working on the Aqua and Magma Energy, which showcase the Team Aqua and Team Magma logos with blue and orangey brown backgrounds, and the logos of the evil teams are behind them. And then, they made the Rainbow Energy, but better. It's introducing the Double Rainbow Energy, which is similar to the original one, but there are two of them now, and a cross goes down the middle of the card, diagonally like an X. Our final trainer artist is Ken Sugimori, who worked on the Team Aqua Schemer, which stands in front of the rising sun, and then the Team Magma Schemer, who stands evil looking in front of the setting sun, and then the Archie, which stands in front of the aquatic logo, and then Maxie, which does the same, but with a flaming logo. And then we have the Team Aqua Conspirator, which stands in front of a nice pond, and the Magma Conspirator, which stands in front of some rocky cliffs. Whoa, man, this place doesn't seem too stable. Let me take a walk and let's start talking about a new artist. Our next artist is actually a new one, being Yosuke Da Silva, working on the Magma Rhydon, which leaps with its mouth wide open, coming from the base, and the other Magma Rhydon stands near some lava. And then the Aqua's Carvana, which jumps at the camera with its mouth wide open. These 3 cards are the only ones that this artist has ever done, but they are quite dynamic, and they are appealing to me, at least. Our next artist is Atsuko Ujie, who worked on 6 whole cards for Team Magma versus Team Aqua, being the Magma's Houndour, which howls up to the sky near the base, and worked on 2 other variants of the Pokemon. The first one is in front of a gate with smoke all around it, and the last one shows it looking to the left with the Magma M behind it. Ujie also worked on the Magma's Ball toy. The first one flies upwards in front of the base, and the second one shows it spinning around. The third one shows it looking to the right with an M burning into the background. These cards by Ujie are their only cards, other than one random Japanese promo that they did as their first card, which is Pokemon Center Tokyo. Anyways, it's interesting that we're getting so many double up cards in this set, but I guess you can do many things with one model, right? Next, we'll talk about M. Akiyama, working on the Aqua's Electric. The first one shows it bounding with Aqua architecture in the background. The second one shows it howling while on top of a rock. The third one shows it howling once more, but with lightning in the Aqua A in the background. M. Akiyama is another artist who only worked on this set ever, but now we know who did the Aqua's Electric, which is, I guess, cool to say. The next artist is MTTBT, who worked on the Magma's Rhydon, which blazes forward with its mouth wide open, and lava in the back in the shape of an M, and the Aqua's Carvana, which looks at the camera, and the Aqua A is in the background. MTTBT is yet another artist who only ever worked on this set, which means I'm noticing a pattern for this one. Now, we'll talk about Jungo Suzuki, who is an artist whose 3D cards I've actually praised in the past, with the Remoraid from Neo Destiny being a standout. But they worked on the Aqua's Corphish, and the first one shows it looking up at the Aqua Stadium. The second one is very silly, which shows it covering its face with its own claws, making it almost look like he has a mustache. The last one shows Corfish stanced and looking to the right, with the Aqua A sitting in the back. The Aqua's lantern, which bounds up from the water in front of the hideout, and the Aqua's Viper is definitely my favorite, as it coils around a projection of the Aqua's A, and combined with the striking purple and white background, this card specifically stands out to me. Next, we'll talk about Shinichi Yoshikawa, who worked on a whopping 8 cards for this set. Firstly, the Magma's Puchiena, which sits down by a couple of trees, with an orangey sky. The next one shows it posing towards the camera in front of a hideout. And next, they did the Aqua's Puchiena, which howls at the sky in front of a hideout. The next one shows it looking up in front of some kind of shipping container. The Magma's Mightyena looks up into the sky in front of the Magma's hideout, and the second one jumps over some kind of wooden construct as it looks to the right. Then we have the Aqua's Mightyena, which prances around the Aqua Stadium, and the other one stands in front of the same containers that we saw in one of the Aqua's Puchiena cards. Are you confused yet? I'm certainly confused with all these random repeat Pokemon. Honestly, seeing Sugimori's cards in this set is kind of refreshing, since we've been looking at so many 3D cards already, but Sugimori worked on a handful of nice cards for the set, and some of these are actually okay, such as the Squirtle, which stands below some Sakura trees, the Meowth, which poses as coins fly everywhere, and the Bulbasaur, which stands in a neat flower field, which I actually kind of like, as long as they do something with the background to complement the Sugimori artwork in some way. Whoa, oh my gosh, I barely made it out of there alive. That was terrifying. It looks like we made it between where the water and lava meet, and there's a big pool of obsidian below me. How fitting for a set like this, right? What? Who's there? What do you want? Ugh. Let's just talk about the next artist, being T Honda, another new name, but they worked on the Aqua Celio, which shows it screaming at the camera on the Aqua Stadium. And then the other one shows it mischievously looking at the camera near some sort of aqua storage facility. The Team Magma's Ride-On shows it at the top of the hideout as it lifts its arm up. And now we can talk about our first holo card, being the other Magma's Ride-On, which stands in front of the Magma M as it moves around, semi-dynamically, I would say. Next is Kazuo Yazawa, who worked on the Aqua's Chinchou, which shows the Pokemon parting the water around it as it swims up what seems to be a waterfall, which is actually quite a neat background. And then Groudon's first appearance in the TCG, being the Magma's Groudon, which shows Groudon, wow, I said Groudon like 4 times, with a deep, dark red shading as it moves through the card aggressively, with the Magma M in the back, which actually does look quite nice. Technically, this is Yazawa's last card, but they had been featured in the past, so I thought I'd mention them before we depart with them. And next is Zhu Ka, working on the Magma Zangoose, which dances towards the camera with an upset look on its face as it stands on the Magma Stadium. Then we have the Magma's Claydol, which shows it with the moon in the back and a thin little outline. And then we have the Magma's Claydol Hollow this time, which shows Claydol with its arms extended and a laser-etched M can be seen in the back, which is actually kind of cool. These are Zuka's last technical Pokemon cards, and after this, they only do reprints, so this little artist was actually short-lived, but at least their energy recycle system trainers lives on in later sets. Hiromichi Sugiyama is an artist who we've definitely talked about in the past, and they worked on many older cards, but in this set, they worked on the Aqua's Carvana, which swims up with a pack of other Carvana. The Magma's Lyron, which stands in front of a fence in a container, and then the other one shows it standing on some rocks with magma effects on the screen. And finally, the Magma's Aggron Hollow, which shows it looking forwards and to the left, with magma effects below it, looking menacing, interesting, and actually pretty dope. Now, we have Kenny Kuji, who worked on the Magma's Houndoom, which shows a bottom-up view of the Pokemon looking to the left, curiously, on the hideout. And then, the Hollow shows another bottom-up view, but this one looks directly at the camera with the Magma M in the back. Then, they also did the Aqua's Walrein, which shows it inside of some kind of building, and it opens up its mouth. Ikuji is another artist who has some previous cards, but we will definitely see them again, so don't worry. Next, we'll talk about Katsura Tabata, working on 6 cards for this set. The Magma's Numel shows it looking really mad as it looks to the left, and the Magma's Aeron looks even more upset as it stands on the stadium, but the other one looks up at the camera as it stands on some boxes, also, once again, looking extremely upset. Then, the Magma's camera brings down some lightning, which is something to note. It does look quite nice, with the nice deep purple and yellow colors, and the M is in the back, sort of. I actually quite like the Aqua Sharpedo. It looks straight out of some kind of GameCube game, and the A in the background is definitely a nice touch with the rocks around it. Finally, the Aqua Sharpedo Hollow, which is a top-down view of the Pokemon as it swims through the sea, with a deep hollow pattern, which does look quite nice. Kei Hoshiba worked on the Magma's Torkoal Hollow, which shows the Pokemon with an extremely deep red shadow being cast upon it, and the M in the background is very visible. And then the Aqua's Kyogre, which is also this Pokemon's first appearance in the TCG, which is actually neat to note. Unfortunately, this is technically Hoshiba's last card that they worked on, which is kind of weird, considering the fact that they've been making cards for Pokemon ever since Neo Genesis, which is actually quite a long time ago by now when it comes to my videos, but it's actually a little sad to see them go. Now, we move on to a newer generation of artists, being Naka-Oa, who worked on the Aqua's Sphere, which spins around with after images looking upset on the stadium. The other version shows it spewing out water with other Sphere on some kind of pier. The Aqua's Crawdaunt looks at the camera menacingly inside of a cave, and the Aqua's Crawdaunt Hollow looks straight on at the camera with its pincers ready to strike. This artist will definitely be featured many times in the future, so be prepared. Finally, for the main set, we'll talk about Kei Utsunomiya, who worked on the Aqua's Cacnea, which shows it swinging its arms around and looking dead on at the camera. And then Aqua's Manectric shows it discharging energy around it, looking up in some kind of hangar. And then the Hollow shows it displaying its electrical properties, but this one has the A in the background. And then the Aqua's Cacturn Hollow looks quite nice, as its hand comes right at the camera and it looks menacingly towards us, and the background is very liney. Hard to explain it, but I really like how it looks. And it also features the Aqua A in the back. Wow, onto EX cards already? It feels like they came so fast. But our first artist, Ryo Ueda, worked on the Cradily EX, which shoots its pink tentacles out towards the camera as it looks up at the camera, with a nice deep red background. Then, the Entei looks to the left with a fiery explosion of a background. The Raikou, which shows it looking to the right with lightning coursing everywhere. The Suicune, which stands graciously as it steps on some water, with a deep frosty blue background, and some snowflakes can be visible on the back. Hikaru Koike worked on the Blaziken EX, which kicks upwards with a deep blue vortex background, the Sceptile, which runs towards the camera, with green lines flowing everywhere, and then the Swampert EX, which stances up with a galaxy-esque purple background behind it, which looks really cool. Our final two cards are illustrated by Mitsuhiro Rita, and are the secret rare cards in the set. Firstly, we have the Absol, which looks to the left as it stands all the way on top of some snowy mountains, which has a really awesome vibe. And then the Jirachi, which is actually this Pokemon's first appearance, as its head stickers fly all around it, and its back yellow cape thing flows behind it, and it has a split green and blue background on top to bottom, which looks really cool for a secret rare. Well, actually, I'm sure a secret rare should look really cool, but this one looks cool especially. My personal favorite cards in the set are actually the Absol Secret Rare, Suicune, Swampert, and Raikou EX cards, which all look really magnificent in my opinion. And then the Aqua's Cacturn, Kyogre, and then the Magma's Aggron, Magma's Houndoom holo cards, and then the Aqua's Seviper, Sharpedo, Chinchou, Corphish, and the Magma's Aeron, which all have very nice character, which is something I value in Pokemon cards. And that was EX Team Magma versus Team Aqua, which is definitely an interesting set, featuring many actually very cool Pokemon as EX cards and secret rares. And the set also has a lot of 3D cards, which was only mildly confusing. Anyways, in our next video, we'll talk about EX Hidden Legends. Hope you can join me in my next video. And also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It would really help me out. Anyways, bye now.